The Adaptive Living Interface System, or ALIS for short, is being developed at Simon Fraser University for the North House. It's made up of a set of interactive technologies and ambient information cues that provide feedback on the operation of the house and help occupants to control the house systems. The aim of ALIS is to empower and to educate occupants of North House and to help them make more sense of the decisions that relate to energy efficiency in their own home, as well as to situate their energy decisions within their larger community. This is accomplished through three primary points of interaction: a desktop interface, a mobile application, and through what we call the ambient canvas. The desktop and mobile interfaces allow residents to monitor their own energy use history and incorporate aspects of community networking that allows members of this community to share tips with each other. And they can also join challenges and compare their own energy usage. For example, when you look at your own energy consumption, you can see how you're doing in relation to others in your community. We hope that this will be a motivating factor that encourages occupants of energy-efficient homes to live more sustainably and to engage with their neighbors.
So living in an alternative energy home requires residents to really, closely monitor and interact with their system. But we wanted in the North House for this to be really effortless. We didn't want the person who lives there to have an engineering degree in order to be able to use their own home. So in order to do this, we took three main approaches. Firstly, we created a series of modes. For example, home mode or sleep mode, or even something like party mode or TV watching mode. This is just a way to set a whole bunch of different house controls with the push of a button. So for example, with media mode, you might want your shades down and your lights low so that it's easier to view the TV. So that was one way that we made it simpler for the occupant of the house to interact with the house systems. Secondly, we wanted to provide really good feedback to them so that they could easily tell how the decisions they were making about how they were running their house, how those decisions affected the performance of their house and its energy efficiency. So for example, we wanted to be able to provide feedback to the occupant that, if they're showering in the evening off-peak hours, they're going to be able to save a few dollars that way. Or provide some status updates, for example, that they've used 5% less energy than they did last month. And finally, we wanted to provide all the house systems and monitoring interfaces through a web application. So what this allowed is that people could take their mobile phone, their smartphone, or their laptop and view their house and monitor their energy production and consumption, even while they're away at work or while they're on the road. And also they would be able to use their mobile device as a remote control for the house. So part of the reasoning behind this was to really incorporate the systems that we've developed for the house into the digital ecosystem that people are already really familiar with and that they use every day.
Another aspect of the ALIS system is what we call the ambient canvas, which is embedded into the backsplash of the kitchen. The canvas uses patterns of light to communicate information about how the house is doing. For example, the lights might be very dim, which communicates that the house is not doing very well in terms of energy efficiency. As the efficiency of the house improves, these lights become brighter and more vibrant. These methods of communication is not intrusive. It can be sensed, much like the weather, allowing the occupant to get a sense of how the house is doing through ambient awareness. The ambient canvas also gives you other information about how you're doing with respect to your community and your water usage. Though the lights might appear ambiguous at first, over time, the residents will come to understand the meaning behind the qualities of light. This is emphasized by the central position of the ambient canvas in the house, which is present while the occupants go through about their day-to-day activities, such as washing the dishes or watching TV. This will allow the quality of the lights to take on meaning in the lives of the residents, allowing them to grow along with their house.